Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome in to a lovely hump day edition of the JP Peterson Show. Here we are coming to you live from our G's Law Group studio in beautiful South Tampa. And meanwhile, my compatriot and cohort, IndyCar Tim, coming to you live from his bedroom in Dallas. What's up, dog? How are you?
In the business, JP, we refer to this as the home studio. All right. Terminology, phrasing.
My bad.
I don't want people to think
our wide shot. We got a new wide shot for the studio. Hit the kids with that again. Boom. That looks good. JP's got his ring light. I need it. Smooth out all the rough edges on the face. Anyway, enough about me. We're gonna have a fun show today. I'm in a kind of a snarky mood today.
You are, I can tell.
Yeah, why not? Lots to get to. I mean, people on people are driving me nuts with this Orlando stuff. And and now look, there's a lot of things that happened yesterday. You know, the Tampa Bay Sun announcement yesterday has everyone in a tizzy. So we'll get to that and let you know what I think's going on. I already have some folks on Twitter asking about that. So we'll get to that. The Rays were, that was boring last night. Incredibly boring last night. Almost as boring as game 3 or game 6 last night. The Panthers won that one quite easily. Edmonton did not put up much of a fight last night. So we'll talk about the Panthers win, what that means for the Lightning, because obviously that's all we care about. And I'm interested to hear what Lightning fans said. I think it's kind of mixed on social media that they were kind of happy about, Florida retains the cup. Yay, woo.
No, it's not how it works.
Woo, woo. Canada still sucks. Yes, absolutely. In hockey, they do. This is what it is. And the whining going on in Canada, that's kind of my fun. The most fun
can
part.
You say a team sucks if they went back to back in the
finals? No, but it's all about state tax. You guys don't have any state tax, so you can get better players.
It's not.
First of all, vote for lower taxes. You had a chance to do that many times in Canada. You keep electing the same liberals that keep spending all your money and taxing the hell out of you. Maybe change that. And for nothing, one other reason on hockey, you want to win a cup, change your leadership. Maybe that'll help. But
they're learning.
I think it's a little bit more than that, though. I'm just going to say I think it might be a little bit more than that's going on in Florida. Maybe some good general managing going on. I mean, Zito made some pretty good trades for the Panthers. That Brad Marchand guy probably was pretty good. I think he worked out well, right? Yeah,
he's okay.
So
he's all right.
I think that worked out well. So listen, stop the whining. So we'll talk about the Panthers. I mentioned the Rays lost, but we'll talk about more of the off the field stuff. Shane McClanahan, news on him, good stuff. The Wander trial, very interesting. We could hear something by Monday, and that could really lead to some really weird things going on. Did you see the Caitlin Clark stuff last night?
I did. This is getting out of hand, JP.
What the actual fudge? Like, what are you doing?
Is the WNBA turning into wrestling?
No, it's turning into a very bigoted place for the best player in the game. That's what it's turning into. Well, it already is. And you can't tell me the reason this is happening is not because she's a straight white girl and she's way better than the other girls. And she's getting all the attention, and they don't like it. It's a little bit of a microcosm of society, but yeah. And they're killing the golden goose. And at this point, if I were her, I'd just go play overseas. Screw this. To hell with this. They're going to end your career quite quickly, Caitlin Clark. All these jealous, bigoted players are going to end your career. Get the hell out of there while you still can. You get all your endorsement money. You'll be bigger than ever. You'll be global. Get the hell out of there. What a joke. What a absolute joke. Oh, we'll show you that a little bit later on in the show. All right, so we got lots to get to. I think we got to open up here, my friend, with just talking about what happened yesterday. We talked about this on the show because the story broke yesterday about the Tampa Bay Sun and Daryl Shaw building a new stadium. You had the beautiful renderings as well. If you could throw those up, you still have them. This beautiful stadium in downtown Tampa. And of course, the first reaction is, oh, the Rays are going to Orlando. And that was the last spot in Tampa and Hillsborough County they could possibly put it in. No, it's not the last spot. And I'm not even sure, as with many things, this is a done deal. It has no financing announcement yet. And I'll just read some of the quotes because this was done, as far as I know, this was a press release. This was not a press conference where questions were to be asked. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason why they don't do those things, because there'll be a lot of questions asked that need to be answered that there aren't answers for right now, because maybe this isn't as bit of a done deal as possible. But I'm not saying that it's not. I'm not casting aspersions upon Daryl Shaw.
Right.
But we just know that things are announced, things are agreed to, things are signed, and they turn out not to be true. Now, I love this idea, but there's a lot of things going on here, in my opinion. First of all, beautiful, beautiful renderings, beautiful statement. I love the fact that Daryl Shaw is such a visionary. And if only we had a baseball owner that was as much a visionary as Daryl Shaw is. If we did, we would have had a baseball stadium a long time ago in Ybor City on land that Daryl Shaw owns. That's a absolute no-brainer. But he's not. We don't have a cooperative owner. And a lot of people saying, how the hell do we get a soccer stadium before a baseball stadium? Tampa, what are you doing? It's not Tampa's problem. Stop with that. Oh, the city's going to pay for a soccer stadium and let the Rays walk away. Stop with that. That's not the city's problem. That's Stu Sternberg's problem and Major League Baseball's problem. That they don't have a willing owner that can get things done and will pay half, because that's what it costs. Nobody's paying for a whole stadium anymore, and that's what Stu wants. He wants everything paid for because he doesn't want to spend any money. And I hear people saying that he's broke. I don't think he's broke. He's got lots of money. He just doesn't want to spend it. He don't want to spend it. Why spend it when you can just make it? And he'll eventually sell the team for a $2 billion profit, and we'll all move on, but it'll be way down the road, probably. And as he continues to delay until he gets his revenue sharing removed. And, he's just going to play a dirty game like he's been playing for a long, long time, holding up development in Tampa, holding up development in St. Pete, holding up expansion in Major League Baseball. Because he doesn't care about anybody else. He just cares about his own pocket. And that's demonstratively proven by his actions. This is not an opinion. This is facts, obviously. Walking away from 2 deals here in the Tampa Bay area, and promoting the silly Montreal stuff and all the other silly things that he's done. So stop with that. And second of all, this doesn't absolutely like all these idiots in Orlando. Oh, JP Peterson, look at this. There goes another site. Okay. Yeah, that was definitely a site that was possible. And I thought was my favorite site. And doesn't mean it's completely off the table. It just means this is what they're going forward with now. Some things could change, but it also could mean that they've identified another spot where the Rays stadium is going to go. And that's what I think has happened here. And Daryl Shaw may very much be involved in that as well. And the biggest tell here is, folks, and as much as I love our new Tampa Bay Sun in a fledgling league that just started, that's below the major women's soccer league. Okay, they have a team, the Orlando Pride, who've won the championship over in Orlando. They have a beautiful new downtown stadium. They've had MARTA. They've had U.S. women's national teams players on this team. They average about 5,000. 5,000. Okay, that's the league up. I mean, the Sun did not average 5,000 this year. Okay, and I'm not saying anything bad about them. That's a great They just were born. They just started, and they won a championship. And now they got a new stadium. This is all awesome stuff. But let's not sit here and believe that Daryl Shaw, as smart as he is building a 15,000 state-of-the-art seat stadium for the Tampa Bay Sun. That just doesn't make any sense. They're not going to draw that many. The numbers don't work. So what's at play here? Well, there's got to be another soccer team, and that would be the Tampa Bay Rowdies, who are owned by the Rays. There's no way you build this stadium, and there's no way, and I'll read from the Times piece. The Sun, along with Tampa Bay business mogul Daryl Shaw, released a plan on Tuesday to build a stadium on Ybor's waterfront. 15,000-seat venue will be located within Ybor Harbor, a forthcoming 33-acre mixed-use development headed up by Shaw. It would also include a boutique hotel and all those condos that you see there. The site was once floated as a possible location for the Rays, but that option is now off the table, according to a list of frequently asked questions sent to members of the media. We believe in the power of sport to inspire, unite, and drive meaningful change, Shaw said in a statement, not a press conference, a statement. By anchoring this historic neighborhood with a vibrant home for women's professional soccer, we're investing in our city's future and honoring the community that makes it thrive. Details on the expected cost and construction timeline have not been released. Okay.
Because they can't. They're not that far.
Exactly. Kind of important.
Yeah.
Other shoes have to drop in order to do that. What does that mean? Does that mean a sale of the Rays, including the Rowdies, to a group led by Daryl Shaw, or Daryl Shaw is part of, and the Rowdies and the Rays, Rowdies and the Sun play in this beautiful stadium right here, and the Rays play somewhere else in Tampa, likely next to Raymond James Stadium, in my opinion. That would be a very interesting situation. And if these two groups come together, the owners of the new baseball owners, deep-pocketed local folks who are very well connected in the community, with the Glazers, who are doing a very similar project with Manchester United at Old Trafford, and they come together in a development consortium that includes Raymond James Stadium, a Rays Stadium, all a Midtown quite mixed-use development around Raymond James Stadium, and also includes the Rowdies, and includes Daryl Shaw being part of that Rays group that buys the Rowdies. Everything kind of comes together nicely. The soccer teams play down there. You probably would see a marketing alliance between the two teams. That would be really smart. Maybe some Bucs practices, some night practices down here in this lovely stadium for all to come see. That would be nice, right? Seems like that all comes together really nicely. And then what happens here is shared expense. You have the Glazers and their development rights. You have the new baseball owners and their development rights and their what they're trying to do. And it also spreads to other parts of the city in Ybor Harbor. That comes together nicely. There's a lot of great alliance there. And then the county and the city finally pitch in together to make a lot of this happen in terms of infrastructure and other payments. So you have a lot of different groups. Instead of one group having to pay for everything, the county, the city, the Glazers, the baseball team, you have multiple revenue streams all pitching in a mixed-use development. Sounds kind of interesting. And again, this is all me connecting the dots. There's no way Daryl Shaw is building a stadium like this for just the Tampa Bay Sun. The numbers don't work. They just don't work. So there has to be something else afoot, in my opinion. So for all of you folks that just look at everything on the surface, like especially these people in Orlando, and Orlando had a big press conference yesterday, and what did we find out? There's still no commitment from Orange County. Zero commitment of any public money. I mean, not even, verbally committing, let alone a vote of actual funds. It's still nothing but noise. It's nothing but noise. Yes, they're talking to the commissioner's office. Good for you. Orlando will be part of the expansion cities that will vie for the next two expansion teams. And they'll think they're going to get it, but they'll be used as a pawn to bring up the price of the Rays in this case and also bring up the price of expansion. Sorry, Orlando. We've been there. We know how Major League Baseball works, and you're getting played. But, good luck. If I'm wrong,
so
we'll see.
For anyone that's ever followed sports for a long time, like JP and myself, and we've been through a number of expansions in every league, this is exactly how it works. Sometimes they will play cities against each other under the table.
Yep.
To create more interest for other cities, right?
Yep.
Who might want in to open up the window a little bit. And then they go through all of the cities go through all of these steps internally in the city to say, hey, they design these stadiums, they name the team, they build these commissions, they hold they issue these statements. Sometimes they even hold press conferences. Yeah. Hey, this is where we're at. What they're doing is they're building excitement in their local community that this thing could really happen, when in all actuality, it has zero chance of happening.
Dave, I just love, and I got to get Dave Sampson on to tell this story, because he put this out on a YouTube video when he was president of the Marlins and they were trying to get the stadium done in Miami. He was literally told by Major League Baseball, hey, go out and visit all these other places, all these other cities, hype them up, let them think you're coming. Get that pressure on Miami to go ahead and fund the stadium, which they did, and it's going to end up costing them $2 billion. The city of Miami is going to end up costing them with interest over $2 billion. And they end up putting the stadium in a terrible location. The same mistake that we were about to do in St. Pete. At the same cost, by the way. It would have been a $2.4 billion net cost to the city of St. Petersburg. You thank your lucky stars. The best thing that Stu Sternberg has ever done for the city of St. Pete was pull out of that deal. Not that he was ever going to build a stadium, in my opinion, but anyway, it didn't happen. It's the best thing that's ever happened. And now, of course, everybody in St. Pete is like, can we survive without baseball? What is St. Pete like without baseball? And we're like, yeah, we really can. We don't need baseball. No, you don't. We've been saying that for years. You don't need it. You're better off without it. Fiscally, I know, I saw something in the paper yesterday. Oh, business is going through a lull in the summer without the Rays. There's always a lull in the summer, and maybe there's a little bit of lull. But in the end, when you finally get rid of the Rays and you can build something that's way more suitable and beneficial and much more cost effective for the citizens of St. Pete and Pinellas County, it'll all make up for itself. Right. So I wouldn't, short term, maybe a little bit of a hit, but in long term, not so much. But yeah, this is what this means. I mean, you got to go a little bit more beyond just the surface thinking. And I wanted to touch on this one quote from the mayor. Let me see if I can find this here. Where's is it not in this piece? Mayor Jane Castor voiced her support for the project. Quote, the stadium would deliver a place that captures our city's energy, inspires the next generation, and stands as a national symbol of what happens when cities invest boldly in women's sports and inclusive economic growth, she said in a statement.
Can I see those numbers, please? Can I please see those economic studies where a city has invested $500 million in a women's professional sports franchise, and then seeing that money came back with any effect at all?
With all due respect,
with all due respect. Look, we are dealing with this in Dallas right now, as we have the very unfortunately named Dallas Wings women's basketball team, WNBA team, right? Paige Beckers.
The Wings?
They're the Wings. Paige Beckers. We drafted Paige Beckers.
Oh, yeah.
Who I never heard of until they literally called her name in the draft, and it was apparently a big deal on the news. I don't know.
Well, that's on you. She's
admittedly so, right? Admittedly
right.
So. I get it. But so they play in a college, like a Division III, our UT Arlington gym that holds about 4,000 people. And they're talking about building a new arena for the Wings. And they're talking about, because they can't afford to do it anywhere like downtown Dallas. Oh, hell no. And they're also at the same time talking about the Mavericks. You know, the owners, the casino owners of the Mavericks are talking
Can't
about
they play in the Mavericks arena?
The American Airlines Center that holds 18,000 people.
Yeah.
I don't think they like to do that. Plus, I don't think they can afford to do that because they have to lease it, right? Don't they have to pay to play there?
Yeah, but the NBA subsidizes the WNBA ever since their existence.
And I don't know if you can do that. When is their season? Are they playing right now? I honestly don't even know. Okay, so
they play after the NBA is over.
Okay, so it's not a scheduling conflict with the NBA and the NHL because
it starts up. It starts up at the end of the NBA season and goes through the summer.
But all I'm seeing is news reports about how they can't afford to put a new arena somewhere because they can't afford to build it somewhere that's nice. So they're talking about all of these places that are 15 miles south of downtown Dallas in Oak Cliff, where everybody who follows the JFK assassination know that's where Lee Harvey Oswald was arrested, in Oak Cliff, south of Dallas.
Right. Oh yeah, right. Okay.
At the Texas Theater, right? They're still there. But it's outlier out of town. Right now they play in Arlington, which is right there, of course, where everybody else plays. But it's still far from the fan base because nobody in Fort Worth cares about the Dallas Wings, right? It's a Dallas team. It's not like the other pro franchises. So they're bickering about where they can build this thing, and they want to build like a 10,000 seat arena for the WNBA. And I'm just like, things not even going to be here in 5 years. I don't understand.
Caitlin Clark leaves. Yeah.
Now they did play the Wings games when Caitlin's rookie year last year, right? Was her rookie year? They moved the 2 or 3 Wings games that they played against Indiana to the AAC, and they sold it out.
Yeah. And they still want to beat her to a pulp.
Yeah, but when she's
we'll
not here,
get to that a little bit later on.
Nobody cares.
But yeah, that's just silly. You can't build a 10,000 seat arena based on what do they play, like 20 home games?
Oh, if that.
It makes absolutely no sense.
And look, I will admit to you
with
also,
all due respect, this makes no sense with just the Tampa Bay Sun. I
will
know
admit,
the USL League, which is headquartered here, is going to do tournaments there, amphitheater, all that other stuff. But still, it just doesn't make any sense to build a soccer stadium for a team that barely draws 5,000. And obviously it's going to grow as the years go on. But again, I look to Orlando in a higher classification league with real stars, people we know, Alex Morgan, Marta, they draw an average of 5,000 people in a 25,000 seat stadium.
Right.
So, I mean, you can't expect much more than that. And Daryl Shaw knows this. He knows this. That's why there was no press conference, because the first question would be, are the Rowdies coming? Oh, we don't know yet. He has a pretty good idea they're coming. Like, they're hopefully close. Close.
And that's why even the MLS stadiums try to subsidize their soccer franchise with literally anything else they can. Like I mentioned yesterday, Toyota Stadium here, dude, they hold numerous concerts every year. They hold the Division 2, not Division 2, but whatever, not FCS college, whatever they named it, where the freaking North Dakota Bison play every year in the title game is right here. Right. They play that. They play like 2 other college bowl games. So you have to have those other events at that stadium to help pay for it. In addition to I don't care if it's men's or women's soccer, you've got to have other attractions. And look, all fairness aside here, like that seems like the perfect place in Ybor City, right there where they want to build that stadium to draw stuff like that. I mean, the concerts you could have there.
Concerts will be a huge part of it. It'll be
college football, lower tier bowl game or something there. Like, dude, that is a perfect setting for stuff like that.
Yeah, you look at this. This is perfectly set up for an amphitheater as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They can stay, and it would take the place of our awful amphitheater that we have right now, and closer in downtown there people can, can walk there, take a boat there, take a water taxi there, take a train there, take your scooter there, Uber, all that stuff. So, yeah. And all the downtown parking is downtown parking. People are like, where are we going to park? With the downtown parking, the games are at night, people clear out. That's what they do. So anyway, I just think, this is an unbelievable development for the Sun, but I also think there's a lot more going on here. And if you think, and that's why this was announced the way it was announced. There wasn't a big press conference where a bunch of questions were going to be asked, because those questions can't be answered right now. but they have a pretty good idea where they're going, and they don't want to reveal anything else that's happening. In my opinion, this is just my opinion, folks. I'm not reporting this as truth. This is my opinion. We want to kind of read the room, connect the dots, and not do just such surface thinking of, oh, the city's going to pay $500. I saw stuff like, oh, so the city's going to pay $400 million to build this stadium and not for the Rays. Jesus Christ, the stadium's not going to cost $400 million. My God, it's a 15,000. So it's probably Orlando built there for $95 million. I know that was 8 years ago or something, but no, this is that looks to me like to be about $150 million, $200 million stadium. It's not, and the city, I doubt it's going to play hardly anything for it because they don't need to. But there'll be some public-private partnership in terms of infrastructure and a lot of different things, probably a lot of stuff that needs to happen in the harbor in terms of dredging and moving of industrial stuff. That if the city absorbs that cost, that will certainly help. So, but again, let's just be a little bit smarter here, people. Let's look a little bit deeper and just not take everything for just surface, because that just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, and people can figure that out. Michael LaRue says, I just saw that Daryl Shaw owns the Tampa Bay Sun. What does that mean for the soccer team getting built in Ybor Harbor? Well, that's the whole thing. He owns it. He owns the team. And again, Daryl Shaw has been mentioned many, many times as part of a group that wants to buy the Rays. And it's my intel that he is very much involved in that. And so ergo, the Rowdies come with the Rays. Rays are going to be at another site because this one is now taken. I mean, if you were Daryl Shaw and you could build a baseball stadium there, wouldn't you rather do that than build a Tampa Bay Sun? Of course you would.
Yep.
Of course you would. But obviously it didn't work there, and there's other things afoot. I mean, connect the dots, follow the money. By the way, Nathan Elliott, good morning to you. Nathan's going to join us at 11:30. We're going to call him, Tim. He went to the rookie deal yesterday at McDill and with the Bucs and everything. And I just wanted to have him come on and talk about these young players and how exceptional they are as public servants and public people, not just football players, because it was a really cool deal. So he's going to join us at 11:30.
Awesome.
Rick says, JP with a ring light to smooth out the wrinkles. I think you need a couple floodlights from Coast Guard.
Wow.
Ouch, Rick. Where's your face? I don't see your face up there.
Ouch.
Handsome. Yeah. Cody, what is the Tampa Bay Sun?
I was thinking the same thing, Cody, but I didn't want to say it.
Listen, look, it's a fledgling women's soccer team. I know the Laxers are part owners. Daryl Shaw's part owners. These are people I know in South Tampa, and they're great people. We've had their PR director on. We've talked about them before. They just won a championship in this new league, and it's all awesome. They built a stadium down there on the riverfront that is an incredible venue. Lots of folks go out there. They support them. It's fantastic. But let's keep it in perspective. And there's a lot more going on here. And obviously sergio the Tampa Bay Sun to the top division of the Women's Soccer League is definitely part of it. So, yeah, absolutely. Sergio Bilcher says, good morning, gents. Where are the Rays going to build now with the rumors of a new soccer stadium? I think we covered that.
Yep.
Corey Perry ties an NHL record for most Stanley Cup final losses with 5. Congratulations, Corey. You made it to 6 finals and you won a Stanley Cup. I mean, how anybody sees this as a negative, really,
I don't
kind of crazy. That. It's kind of crazy.
And he was a big part of it, too, of getting there. He's not just some 40-year-old skating around on the fourth line. He was a big part of that.
I wouldn't have minded to see him in a Lightning uniform.
Plus, didn't he do Bedard's mom?
Allegedly.
Like, that makes him more of a legend than anything.
One of the great hockey stories. Hockey has some of the best stories of all time.
It does. You can't do that in other sports.
More rights Twitter says Clark is putting money in their pockets and they treat her like that. Yeah, we'll get to Caitlin Clark a little bit later on. Rick says, keep crying, Edmonton, especially when they trade McDavid to the Bolts. Oh!
Wow.
I
don't think that's
publicity advancing baseball option. That is, Thomas seems to think there's still an Ybor site on 8th Avenue where the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office used to be. There was a land swap done, and he may be right. that's closer to the to 275. So that could be another option as well. What other areas would they build in Tampa, Ybor Harbor? You still have the fairgrounds. You still have Raymond James Stadium. I don't think West Shore is an option. People have mentioned that, but I don't think it's an option. But I think those two, and there may still, as Thomas says, there still might be a spot in Ybor City as well. So
God, how great would that be, man, to have the soccer stadium / concert venue there and the baseball stadium.
Yeah.
And the new FanStream Sports Studio.
Mm-hmm. Easy.
I didn't say yours.
Okay, good. Orioles, a good team, won 91 games last year, 101 games in 2023. They were good, and then they fell on hard times. It's kind of an interesting study, but they lost a lot of good players. They couldn't keep them or didn't want to keep them. Daniel Rivera says the Sun announcement of the soccer stadium in Ybor Harbor was a big piece of the puzzle getting filled. If Shaw is part of this group, that's huge because the Rowdies are likely to play part of the race sale to come. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, Daniel. Well, I'm not the only one seeing this, right? It makes all the sense in the world. And again, this was a statement. This was a statement by Daryl Shaw. There was no press conference. Think, there's reasons for these things. Yes. Yeah. Michael Lewis said the Bucs' biggest weakness is their depth. Some could argue that the head coach is actually the biggest weakness. Oh, tease time. Timmy and I in the 11 o'clock hour will be doing the Bucs' biggest weakness. And Michael LaRue might be onto something.
And it's a big one. At least mine's a big one. I don't know what he's getting at, but mine's a big one.
Mike H says Rays looked tired last night. They got back home off the road trip and are with the ladies, and you see what happens after that. Oh, lost their legs, huh? Lost their legs? Is that what you're saying?
Been there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that is an old wives' tale, but I think it's quite accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, last night, and we're going to spend a whole lot of time on that, but last night the Rays just were kind of flat, and they, a couple of balls found spots for the Orioles. The Rays just offensively couldn't get anything going, couldn't get the big hit, didn't get any power pops. So happens, it's baseball. And I think you might be onto something there. That second game back, you can get a little tired, Thomas Casper says has to be MSL to succeed. What is that, a new soccer league like the MLS? I think he means MLS.
We used to have the Missile.
Have to get promotion. What's that?
Were y'all part of the Missile, the MISL? Major indoor soccer league back.
Oh, I remember that. No, we were. I don't think we were. I don't think we had one of those. I could be wrong though.
Yeah, we had that. We had one of those here.
Rowdies have to get promoted to MLS for that stadium to work. I don't necessarily think so. They draw 7,000-8,000 at in St. Pete, so I think they could get a little bit more in there. I think they could fill 15,000.
Can I ask?
Not every game, but it would be nice for them. If they go to MLS, they'll need more than 15,000. Way more.
Oh, you think?
Not way more, but they'd need 25. I don't think the MLS has given a team a stadium with a stadium of 15. I don't think so.
So can I ask?
Most of the new stadiums are like 25 to 30.
So Toyota Stadium here is like 20, 21, something like that.
Yeah. Oh, really? That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that's going to increase with their humongous expansion, I think, by like 10,000. I think they're going to add 10,000 seats.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And a lot more suites and stuff like that. But can I ask an uneducated question?
Sure.
So I know that, what do they call it? Promotion and relegation overseas, by soccer clubs to go into bigger.
Yes.
Do they do that here also?
No.
Like, have teams ever done that?
Nope.
Okay.
The USL is trying to promote that.
Okay.
We'll have to get Dan Lucas on it because I think he explained that to us last time.
Yeah,
they're trying to do that, and I don't know if they're trying to tie in with the MLS in that, because that would be really cool if they could tie in with MLS and relegation, which I think is got to be their ultimate goal. That would be really, really cool. And it would make these USL franchises worth a hell of a lot more money. So, which I think
but wouldn't the I think every MLS team that exists would have to agree to that, and why would they?
Because they get part of the action,
especially the bad ones.
They'd get part of the action.
The bottom line out of the USL too.
I would guess.
Okay, all right. Well, if there's financial, for it, then financial reasons,
Has anyone ever been to a Rowdies game? They seem to have a decent following, but I'm not into soccer or it's football. Yeah, I've been, and they're awesome. They put on a fantastic show. There's a lot of energy in the building, a lot of loyal fans. 7,000 to 8,000, Al Lang Stadium, right down by the water. It's a great product. It's a fantastic product that they do there. So yeah, and if it were in Tampa, I think it would be bigger and better. Absolutely, makes sense. It makes sense. It makes a huge sense right there, because the USL, the Rowdies are part of the USL, as is the Sun. So, and this is their headquarters. So now you have a downtown stadium for both teams. I don't think it's just one. So
JP, I'm a bit confused. Why did they name a team in Tampa after the Dallas Cowboys mascot, Rowdy?
That is the dumbest name for a mascot.
Sorry, I had to.
I
agree. It's dumb.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I do not know the origin of the Rowdies nickname. Somebody educate me. I do not know. All I know is I grew up a Fort Lauderdale Strikers fan, and we hated the Rowdies. That was a huge rivalry. We had like Gerd Mueller, who was a famous German striker, who just like sat in front of the goal and just had these magic feet, and they'd pass it to him, and he'd pass it to somebody else or kick it in the back of the net. It was fantastic.
So the Rowdies were the first professional sports franchise in the area.
Yeah.
As part of the 1975 North American Soccer League. I remember the NASL. We had a team here in Dallas for that.
That's right. Pele came.
Yeah.
All the big names came. Yeah.
So that's what it's named after, I guess.
Well, yeah, it's named after the old team, duh. But what was the original team? Why did the original team call themselves the Rowdy? That's the question.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I can find out. It's probably one of these stupid fan votes.
Yeah, probably.
Which never.
There has to be some type of meaning to it. Thomas Casper says, by the way, that Ybor Channel site is at least 5 years from major Army Corps of Engineers environmental cleanup. Thomas knows this stuff because he works in insurance and those things. And I always wondered that. That is a highly industrialized area with those big silos there. So, yeah, it would seem to me that's, I said you don't bring in a bulldozer and just do that stuff. It takes time. So what it would take 3 or 4 years? Oh, it's about the time it would take to build that baseball stadium.
JP, I have your answer.
What?
Let's see. They were trying to come up with the name in the 70s. Let's see. The inspiration was simple enough. Wilhelm, a 31-year-old local attorney, saw the boisterous and energetic atmospheres and stands at soccer games and thought Tampa Bay's team should reflect that.
Okay.
He said, quote, I just thought the soccer team could use something different. Soccer fans seemed like a rowdy bunch. In Europe, they all seemed like rowdy fans. I thought we should have the same kind of energy out there, end quote. So there you go.
I like that. Yeah. Thus the Rowdies were born.
Oh, they played out at Lang Stadium too, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Where they play now.
Yeah.
They started in the Sombrero.
Right.
They drew 60, 70,000 people. It was huge.
Soccer was big in the 70s, man.
It was big. Yeah. We played, the Strikers played in a Lockhart Stadium, oddly enough, where the Miami team plays now. They're building a new stadium. Of course, everybody can build stadiums. We can.
Yeah.
They're building it. They're building that huge mixed-use development down in Miami, like a $10 billion thing that Beckham's doing. And I didn't realize that the Miami Hurricanes are building it on campus stadium as well.
Wow.
I saw
that.
Didn't
they just break ground on that? I heard.
Yeah, but I hadn't heard anything about it. And now they're building that soccer stadium. They're building the Miami, like everybody's building stadiums except the Rays. Oh, it's everybody else's fault. God.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. I'm sorry we went over time. We got to get to our great sponsors who we love so much. You see them all there at the bottom of the page. And we don't want to forget Jeeves Law Group, GAEEVES lawgroup.com. They're local.
He's at the top of the page because he's tops.
That's right. And when they get results, by the way, if you're involved in an accident, get your free case evaluation at the Jeeves Law Group. Go to the website, tell them JP sent you, email them or call them. Non-attorney spokesman, offices, Tampa, St. Pete. And the great folks at OnSiteConstructionFL.com. They are our first hour presenter. We love them. Jason Fawcett was in here last week, and he reminded you folks, get your free consultation with him. Give him a call. Go to the website, Contact him through there. They'll set up a free consultation. He'll come out, look at your house, say, by the way, we could do this to make you more hurricane prepared. And they said, and if a hurricane comes, here, you can get in line now. You get you're in the queue. So if something happens, you don't have to go out and look for a contractor and wait, 8 years till he's available. You're in the queue and you got a spot. So onsiteconstructionfl.com, very, very important. Get that consultation now and get in line and get to know your contractor before the crap hits the fan. Onsiteconstructionfl.com. Back in 3. Although it may seem tempting to go without healthcare insurance, the financial risk far outweighs the gain you may experience. For example, did you know if you simply broke your leg, it could cost you nearly $7,500? Put on top of that a hospital stay, you could be looking at $10,000 to $15,000. Ensuring that you don't go uncovered is so important, as according to CNBC, high medical bills are the highest contributing factor to why Americans end up taking money out of their retirement savings, or worse, find themselves filing bankruptcy. So go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. Now, depending on your income, you can get plans for zero premium. Our experts will guide you through the process effortlessly. They will shop many plans and find the one that's right for you. I called and I have full health coverage through Florida Blue for zero monthly premium. It's a free call. So why go uncovered? It's a huge risk. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. Spring means a time of renewal and Rays baseball, and the folks at Italiano Insurance want to welcome the Rays to Tampa and remind you it's time to renew those insurance policies with the now famous Italiano Insurance Checkup. Let the experienced and friendly agents shop your policy for the best price and coverage. Famous for saving me over $1,000 on our auto insurance last year and over $500 on our homeowners. Now that's a grand slam. Might as well get a double play by adding flood insurance and business insurance to your portfolio. Costs less than you think, and trust me, you do not want to risk your home or personal wealth. That's a big whiff. So step up to the plate and call 813-877-7799 and chat with the all-star agents at Italiano Insurance. 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Rays! JP here for Riveters, our new official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. And just like our show, no BS, no corporate chain feel, just amazing, authentic folks serving great comfort food in a casual atmosphere at unheard of prices. Riveters is located just south of Raymond James and Steinbrenner Field on Dale Mabry, walking distance to the park. So free parking, great place for pregame and postgame. Let's talk about fresh food. Nothing is frozen. Burgers, wings, prime rib, roasted fresh daily, never frozen. That makes a huge difference. The mahi, the salmon, also super fresh. All our sauces are original recipes made in-house. Our Warhawk chili and fully loaded potato soup is made fresh in-house. It's the best food anywhere, served by people who actually care. Riveters on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of where the Bucs and Rays play. We'll see you there. Are you looking to renovate your home, rebuild after the hurricanes, or build your dream home from scratch? Well, let me tell you about my friend Jason Fawcett and On-Site Construction. They have over 1,450 satisfied clients, 25 years of experience, over 500 designs, and a talented team of over 40 construction professionals. They believe building something exceptional begins by truly focusing on all the details, even the smallest ones. We understand that construction can be a daunting process, and we're here to make it as smooth and stress-free as possible. Quality is non-negotiable at On-Site Construction. We use the finest materials, employ the most skilled tradespeople, and adhere to the highest industry standards to deliver a product we're proud of and that you're going to love. Our project management is meticulous with a focus on completing projects on time and on budget. Your happiness is our primary driver. So give us a call at 813-579-5789 or check out our incredible website at onsiteconstructionfl.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. You notice him right there on the right side of that, my only fan.
You have an only fan.
Can we get on OnlyFans?
You mean you're
People are
not?
making lots of money on it.
You're not on OnlyFans?
Well, we should be, right?
I'm on OnlyFans.
I bet you are. All
I
the
had such a
time.
request for videos of me blow drying my beard that I just had to.
Oh. I was like, are you a client or a creator?
There's some freaks out there, JP. Even the women are freaks.
Oh my God. I've heard stories. Like the girl who like farts in a jar and sells her farts.
Gosh, she's hot. I'm not gonna lie. By the way, it's funny that you bring that up because you know we have audio of that, right?
No, we don't. Oh, stop.
Swear to God, that's what that is right there. That's it.
Stop.
That is a girl farting in a jar.
And she makes like millions of dollars doing this.
Because when it's not in a jar, it sounds like this. See the difference?
Oh, oh my God. Oh Lord. Getting some interesting text this morning.
Oh, of course.
Things may be happening.
Uh-oh.
Okay. All right. Loving those things come in. I just love the as much as I hate the stadium talk, man, it's titillating. Speaking of OnlyFans, it's titillating to the fans, and it's just like all the things that could be and could have been and might have been and should have been.
Oh yeah. And
were signed to and agreed to, and it's just, God, what a story.
It never happened.
It is my 30 for 30. It will be my opus documentary.
Well, if it ever ends, you got to have an ending to your 30 for 30, right?
Well, it has to end. It's
well,
gonna
sometime, but in our lifetime,
the least, and I'm not saying it's a 0 chance probability, but I'd say it's 1%. 1% chance that it goes to Orlando. But if it did, that would be, wow. That would be amazing. But it's not going to happen. It's not gonna
amazing happen. For who? Like,
just be an amazing end to the story.
It'd be like an amazing story. Yeah,
it'd be a colossal failure. But anyway, by the way, great folks at Riveters are the official bar and grill of your JP Peterson show. We highly recommend during this week that the Rays are in town that you head on over to Riveters and enjoy some of their fantastic food, their unbelievable staff over there. Say hello to the ladies, Jade, and all the great bartenders over there. For great folks, and you'll get the best food. You'll get the best prices, an awesome atmosphere, great place to watch games. I believe we got a little basketball on tonight and the Rays, so you could watch both there. And don't forget about the happy hour from 3 to 7. It is the best in all of Tampa Bay. $3 domestic drafts, $5 wells, and a host of great food, including you get 8 wings for $12. That is a meal, folks. That is a meal right there. Those wings are a freaking meal with medium sauce, dipped in the blue cheese. Oh, it's just insanely good.
Johnny spoke very highly of those wings last Thursday.
Yes. You could see them on camera when we did it.
I know.
They just look great, right?
Hated y'all so much.
And by the way, they have a couple of private rooms and a couple of private areas. You can rent out the outdoor space there. They have a cool space in back with a big screen. They have a couple of indoor spaces as well, smaller venues that you can rent out for lunches, for business lunches. You could do presentations in there, all types of gatherings. And it's so hard to find, gathering places, and you got to pay $1 million for the freaking space, not at Riveters. So call them up, go to the website, Riveters Tampa, and say, hey, I got an event coming up. They got a lot of different things they can do. The food is great, so it's reasonably priced. So if you're having an event, think about Riveters Tampa. Really, really cool spot. All right, if it's a hoity-toity, white tablecloth thing you're looking for, nah, not the spot for you. We're the blue-collar people. All right, let's can I talk a little bit about the game last night. The Rays lose 5-1. Not much to it. Zach Littell was pretty good. Gave up an 0-2 home run. DeKalzer, Caminero hit into another double play. What's that?
He sat down 10 in a row before he gave up that home run, too, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, he was fine. It's just like one of those nights that things didn't click for the Rays, And they pinch hit Morel in a key spot. Yeah, that worked out well. Can we just get rid of him and bring up Chandler Simpson? Come on, Neander, let's go.
What are they doing with Chandler Simpson? Are they just
Just watching him go 5 for 5 every night in Durham.
That's what I mean. But like, why? Oh, man, I don't
They're
know.
They're trying to rehabilitate morale and show that he's, he got a couple of home runs and maybe it's working because nobody's going to give him squat for him now. You trade away an all-star in Paredes for this guy, and it's just been terrible. But as good as they're playing, and I know Neander's thinking, okay, it's we're playing good, we're in the hunt, blah blah blah. So we're not at desperation time yet, and he's correct. And maybe they can get him on a 2-week roll or something, but he doesn't play enough. Misplayed a ball again as well. It just, he's not an asset to this team. You can't make that case. And they keep him, and I don't freaking get it. But I do get it. They're trying to rehabilitate him and trade him and get something for him. And at this point, they really can't.
It's not working out well.
But Shane McClanahan. So Shane McClanahan went to see a nerve specialist. And the news is good that he is going to actually resume throwing from 125 feet. Said he felt very good through 10 to 12 pitches. He threw a 125-foot catch, long toss. So he did that in Texas, by the way. He was out there because I guess the nerve specialists are all in Texas.
Yep.
Anyway,
so all the Californians get on our nerves.
Yeah. Well, I see what you did there. Yeah. So that's good news. If they can get Shane McClanahan back, holy shnikes. And they have Joe Boyle as well. And somebody's going to get hurt. So we can all agree with that. One of the starters is going to get hurt. That's just the way it goes, especially as the season goes on. So there'll be a space for him in the rotation. We'll bring him back and be like making a huge move at the deadline for the best pitcher in baseball, if he can return to form. That's the thing. When you have nerve damage in your arm, pitching is such an absolute minute, detailed activity. Like, you've got to hit, you've got to throw a ball at 99 miles an hour into, a circle this big when you're spotting your location. I mean, you have to be absolutely, you have to have feeling in your arm. It may require that. And when you have nerve damage, you have no idea, even the slightest bit of damage is going to dramatically affect how good you can be, because he was the elite of the elite. He was the best. He started the All-Star game. He was the best pitcher in baseball. And to expect him to come back to that, I think is a little probably not doable. So, but if he's 80% of what he was, he's still a number one. He's still the number one. So we're looking forward to that, but I would not, I wouldn't hold my breath. All right, let's talk some Panthers, shall we? So the Panthers win last night at home, back-to-back. I got to go on my Twitter feed and see Sasha Barkov bringing the Stanley Cup to one of my old haunts, the Elbow Room there on Fort Lauderdale Beach. That hurt me in so many ways that I couldn't be there. And it was the Panthers and not the Lightning. But I mean, listen, as dirty as they are and as cheap shot as they did, as they did against us, the cheap shots, all of that stuff, not cool, totally not cool. And that was, it is what it is. It is what it is. They were allowed to get away with it all throughout the playoffs, and not cool. But that said, you got to respect the way they went about it. And
they're really good without all that
really
crap. That's
good.
That's what, as a hockey fan, that's what, for me, is what sucks so bad, is that without all of those antics, they're really good. I would love to just watch them use their skill and their talent and their ability against teams. And again, I would like to say against a better team. I don't know that there is a better team in the NHL right now.
Which is, to your point, they don't have to hit Stolars in the back of the head, in the Toronto series and knock him out of the series. They don't have to hit, Hagel in the back of the head and knock him out of the series. They don't have to do all those shenanigans and stupid stuff, but yet they do. And I'm not going to back down from that part of it.
No.
Were they still were they the better team? I don't know. If you don't do that stuff, if Hagel remains in it, and, I think the Lightning were right there in game 4. They had a 2-1 lead, and they gave it up in 11 seconds. And a couple of mistakes ended up in the back of their net, and that was that. that they were, Toronto had them down 2-0 in games and had them down 3-1 in the third period. I mean, you give them credit for their resiliency, but a goal goes through a skate, Ryan McDonough's skate, not off, through it, like through that little, how could a puck even go through that? But it did, and ricochets into the net against the Lightning is one of those key goals. So yeah, I mean, and I see people on, we got to blow it up, we got to blow it. Somebody said in here, and I don't know if this is true, but I don't have any reason to doubt it because I know he said trade Cooch before. But he said Tom Krasnicki said we need to trade Kucherov and sign Brad Marchand. Like, that is idiocy. That's straight idiocy. If Tom Krasnicki said that, are you sure that's what he said? And when did he say that? Michael LaRue, I don't doubt you because you always bring truth. But he said right now they need to trade Cooch and sign Brad Marchand. Like, did he really say that? That's just idiot.
That would be unbelievable to me.
I know he said, trade Kucherov, after the playoffs, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. You don't trade the MVP of the league.
Don't you think Florida's going to try to re-sign him, though?
Yes, of course they are.
Of course they are.
Yeah. And don't you think he wants to stay?
Of course he does.
Do you think he wants to go back to Boston? He's made all the money he'll ever want to make. Why would you not want to stay in South Florida as a hero on that team forever? And damn, what a pickup he was. I mean, listen, The Lightning got Oliver Borkstrand and Yanni Gord. The Panthers got Seth Jones and Brad Marchand.
Brad Marchand has made $72.5 million in his career since.
Yeah, he doesn't need any more money. Why would he leave?
He'll get it. He's about to get it.
Well, you're going to play on the third line? And that was the difference. He played on the third line and scored 10 goals, just like the Gaudreau line. Yeah. The Coleman and Gaudreau line. They drove us to a couple of titles. Those third lines are huge. When you have Brad Marchand on the third freaking line, that's what happens. How many key goals did he score? Now Bennett gets the Conn Smythe. He had 15 goals over the and he was fantastic.
Well deserved.
Yeah, Reinhardt had 4 last night? A couple of empty netters. But I mean, this team is, and the cap is going up. This is what really ticks me off about the Panthers. When the Lightning won, they couldn't keep their team together because the cap was flat for 4 years. They had to sell off everybody. Now the Panthers, the cap's going up it's going to go up to $120 million. It was like before, it was like, there's no way they can keep Sam Bennett. Well, now they can. And you guys, they're talking about the culture the same way the Lightning talk about their culture. So a lot of these guys are going to take less money to stay in South Florida. Yes, and the taxes help. Absolutely. But, that's that tip of the cap. When you create a culture like that and people want to stay there, good for them. So the Lightning they got to find a way to beat the Panthers. They got to find a way to beat the Panthers. And Matthew Tkachuk said last night, and I'll play it in our next segment, that the toughest round other than the finals was against the Lightning. And he had a torn abductor, tore it off the bone. And he wanted to come back, wasn't sure he could play until the day before, and went out there and played and obviously made a huge difference in that series. So, and they could use the LTIR in that situation to bring in Marchand. It all worked out perfectly for them, kind of the way it did for the Lightning. So I don't begrudge them. As much as I hate to say it, they got it done twice in a row. Now, let's see if you can make it back to the finals a third straight year. Because if you don't, then your run wasn't as good as ours. So I'm saying it right now. But I think they're going to be able to retain a lot of their players because the salary cap's going up. And that sucks. Because if the Lightning were able to do that, I think we'd have won a third, maybe even a fourth. Think about it.
So here's a little bit of irony with Sam Reinhart scoring 4 goals last night. He scored the first goal, the third goal, the fourth goal, and the fifth goal. Had Edmonton not scored, or had Edmonton scored 2 goals, he would have had the game winner. He would have been credited with the game winner, which means he would have been the first player in the history of the NHL to register 2 cup-winning goals in consecutive seasons. because he got the game winner last year in overtime.
That's right.
So he scores 4, and the other team only scores 1, but he doesn't have the game winner.
Yeah, because that was kind of a give-up goal.
Yeah, because Kachuk had the second goal, which ended up being the game winner because Edmonton only scored 1. So I thought that was like a weird hockey twist right there.
Yeah, absolutely. But hats off to them.
Yeah,
and
I still hate them.
They're not going anywhere.
I hate their logo. I hate their colors. I hate their faces, JP. Isn't that what hockey's supposed to be about? Just pure hatred.
I cannot disagree. Yeah, and now we got to watch all the Stanley Cup celebration videos.
Gross.
No way. Oh, thank you. No, thank you.
I might have made a trip to Edmonton to watch the parade if they don't want it. I might have done that.
I was sure you were going to say for Game 7, but you never would have got a ticket.
No, I couldn't have gotten
a pass. Yeah.
I watched the parade though.
All right, we're going to take another quick break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to hit the and by the way, I want to hear in the comments. Are you happy that the Panthers won because the Stanley Cup stays in Florida and that Canada is still thwarted again, which is odd, or do you just hate the stinking Panthers? I hate the stinking Panthers. I was rooting for Edmonton.
Gross.
So I wonder what you guys think. All right, we are brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Let them do an insurance checkup for you where they do all the work and you save all the money. That's how it works. Tell them who your homeowner's insurance is with. They got new companies coming in all the time. They represent dozens of companies. So instead of calling some 1-800 number where you're just talking to one company, let them do all the work and find you the best price and fit for your home, because different companies do different things. Some work better with large net worth clients, and some work better with the lower priced homes. So let them do all that work for you, and make sure you have your flood insurance, make sure you're fully insured, and make sure you have your business insurance as well. They'll get everything sorted for you. They do all the work. You save all the money. ItalianoInsurance.com. Back in 3. Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com. JP here for the Gold and Diamond Source. You know, we told you about the amazing Diamond Savings Account where your diamond never loses its value. Well, now, through the end of May, the Gold and Diamond Source will double your trade-in value up to $2,500. Just bring in your jewelry to trade and your $2,500 piece turns into $5,000. It's time to upgrade that ring, earrings, whatever. We have gemologists on site to make the deal. Double your trade value up to $2,500. Get you $5,000 to spend. So go through your jewelry box and get that stuff you never wear and get something new and stylish that you're going to love. Great experience, and we will double your trade-in now till the end of May. We can finance you as well. No interest for 5 years. Only at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road. Always online at goldendiamond.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES. Hey, Tampa Bay, it's time to get your AC unit ready for summer. And here at Third Generation Plumbing and Mechanical, we recommend getting ahead of the game, keeping your family cool before the hot summer months with one of our maintenance agreements in the hopes of avoiding the dreaded emergency service call. Our maintenance agreements include, we'll test the electrical components, check and tighten high and low voltage wire connections. We'll check the refrigerant for manufacturer's performance levels, test thermostats, calibrate if needed, clean the evaporator coil and condenser coil, and clear and treat the drain line and drain pans. Just call us at 813-961-8024 for the special rates, and a human will actually answer. 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at OnSiteConstructionFL.com. If you're looking to restore your home, if you still have damage from the hurricane, a lot of you do, or you had a bad contractor that took your money, didn't do the work, OnSiteConstructionFL.com, been in business over 20 years, over 1,400 jobs done locally. Check out their website, OnSiteConstructionFL.com, see all the great photos of their work, see the 5-star reviews, and get your free consultation with Jason Fawcett, the owner. We had him in studio last week. Great dude, really energetic and fun to talk to. He'll come on over, look at your house and say, hey, maybe you need to do this to help out being prepared for hurricanes. And then you'll get to know him and know the contractor that you're going to be working with. He can show you things that maybe you haven't thought about in restoring your home or adding something on if you're thinking about that. It's a free consultation, so get to know him. And then if something does happen and you're looking for a contractor, you've already talked to him, you're in line, you're in the queue, so to speak, because you will be moved to the top of the line if you do the free consultation. And it's a great way to make sure that you have a contractor before the shit hits the fan, so to speak. So OnSiteConstructionFL.com. Give me a call. Tell them JP sent you, if you would. All right, you want to talk a little Bucs, my friend?
Yeah, let's talk some Bucs.
You did an article on the Bucs' biggest weakness. So I want to hear what you're thinking in terms of what you think the Bucs' biggest weakness is this year.
Yeah, and I actually have two positions of concern.
Okay.
One I think is the biggest weakness. The other one is could be a very close second. And the first one may not surprise everybody, but as I've scoured through and look, I don't put just a ton of stock in, these pro football focus rankings, these position rankings. They're fun to talk about. The way they compile numbers is a little sketchy, I believe, but I do think they can tell a big picture on a player, right? So when you combine those rankings with raw stats and numbers, you can kind of start to see a pattern with a player. And offensively, both of these guys are on offense for me. The first guy and the position of concern that I have on the Bucs offense is tight end Cade Otton.
Okay.
I watched him pretty deep last year in anticipation of this offseason and thinking they might draft a tight end. I know they've got younger tight ends behind them, and they're pretty deep at tight end. Otton continues to be their number one option. And JP, from what I can see, he's just not very good. And to me, his biggest issue is drops, obviously. That's been a knock on him since he came into the league. But when your catch percentage is consistently under 70%, and he's now got 3 years, he has totaled 16 drops in his career. He had 8 of those last year. Half of his career drops were last year when he had 8.
It's a lot.
That is a lot for a guy that's only getting, 50 targets, 60 targets a season.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, he had his most targets at 87. He only caught 59 passes. That's a 67.8% catch rate. But the problem is, and the reason I say it's concerning is because when he's catching the ball, he's really good. It's not like he just always drops the ball. When he catches the ball, he's really good. So that creates an issue because you don't know. You don't know what you're going to get. If he was just bad all the time, then it's easy to move on from a guy, right? But when he shows you flashes, 65 targets, 5 drops his rookie year. 67 targets, 3 drops in 2023. Mm-hmm. And that's when he caught 70.1% of his passes. Mm-hmm. Not bad. 4 touchdowns. But last year, they relied on him a lot. 87 targets, by far the most of his career.
Yeah, because Godwin and Evans were down for 4 games.
Exactly, and he was a bigger part of the offense.
The whole time, yeah.
But he had 8 drops. So what this shows is the more you throw him the ball, the more he's going to drop. And to me, that's a concerning trend for a guy that you need to be a big part of your offense. Now, when you've got 2 guys in the backfield, like Bucky Irving and Rachaad White, who can catch passes on a regular basis, especially on White, you could probably line him up at tight end if you wanted to on passing downs. It takes some of the pressure off, but you still need a tight end who can do that.
Yeah.
So that, to me, offensively, as potent as this thing can be, and we assume Baker Mayfield's going to continue to trend upward. Seen a lot of doomsday sayers out there that, like, statistically, he's got to come down off of this plateau at some point. And I'm like, well, let's wait for that to happen. Let's not predict it. Because he's shown so much consistency over the past 2 years in Tampa Bay. But when you need to rely on your tight end, to me, that's the weak link. I think defenses know that's a weak link. And I don't know if you need to start exploring some of the other options that you have at tight end this offseason, or you just need to roll with Cade Otton to see what he can bring you through 4 seasons as your first wide receiver option. And then my other concern on the offense, JP, might be a surprise to some people.
Okay.
And I am talking about center Graham Barton. Because if you look at the numbers, he wasn't very good last year. I know the eyeball test, he looked like he was, and I thought the same thing.
You going by PFF numbers?
Well, kind of. So that's what alerted me to this, is when I start seeing these rankings, I'm like, what are they talking about? Ranking him so low. So then I went in and I did a little bit of a deeper dive. Those numbers don't tell you the story, but they can certainly indicate a bigger picture, right? And so when I started looking at some game film and I started doing a little bit more of a deep dive and comparing him to some other guys, especially every guy along the offensive line, he's a weak link in the offensive line. And it was my thing here is it was his rookie season. He changed positions. Okay. I fully expect Barton, his performance to increase in year 2. Okay. Especially when he's got guys like Wirfs, Bredesen, Mock, Gedeke along the offensive line with him, who are all very good offensive linemen. So I think what we had last year was a product of him, number one, being a rookie and learning the NFL for the first time. And for the most part, I know he played it a little bit in college, but it had been a while, moving from guard to center at the same time. He had 2 distinct disadvantages against him. The fact that he wasn't noticeably bad, like with the eyeball test on the field, that speaks volumes. But just with a deeper dive, I see a potential here. If he doesn't improve, center could be an issue for the Bucs if he doesn't catch on this year. That's all I'm saying.
All right. I'll start with Grant Barton. I think these PFF numbers are ridiculous when it comes to him. And I often, see some of their grades on players along the, and part of the problem is, first of all, it's hard to see, and if you don't know the blocking assignments, which of course the PFF people do not know what the call is, right, you can't really grade everybody accurately. And offensive linemen will tell you that they, and coaches will tell you that. So PFF grades to me, especially in the trenches, don't mean a whole hell of a lot.
You know how they get those numbers, by the way?
On PFF, I just think it's really hard to do. And the people that are grading it don't know the calls, and some of them are maybe not as savvy as to the schemes of these teams. So I think it's really difficult. Just my eye test watching Graham Barton play, I thought he played great last year for a rookie. He made that huge mistake in the playoff game, granted. with the snap count, but even that can be a little bit difficult at times. And I just think year 2, he's going to be so much better. His physicality, his brains, his quickness, his athleticism. I think the guy's going to be a Pro Bowler. I don't see him as a weak link at all. I don't see the offensive line as a weak link, except this. I will say this. Tristan Wirfs showing up with a knee brace on the knee that he hurt last year bothers me. That bothers me. If for some reason he's not ready to go or can't go or something's going on there, they got issues. They got major issues. Depth at often, losing what's his face? Their old center.
Ryan Jensen.
Hainsey. Losing Hainsey,
Robert
who
Hainsey,
was a swing tackle, and they're just they got Heck, who's got some experience. So I'm a little concerned about their tackle depth. That I think, but nobody has depth on the offensive line.
No, not anymore.
They do have Elijah Klein, who they like a lot. They have Opeta and Bredesen. They've got some good things in the middle. But that scares me a little bit. But so now let's go to tight end. I thought Cade Otton made a huge leap last year, and I think his body has completely changed since his rookie year. He's put on 15, 20 really, really good pounds, and that allowed him to break tackles and fall forward and move forward last year like I've never seen him before. He was very physical after the catch. Now, he does have an issue with drops. There's no question. If he had 4 drops last year, we're talking he's starting to get in Pro Bowl territory because he runs great routes. You heard Anthony Walker talk about that last week. I think he runs tremendous routes, and I think Baker Mayfield has great feel for him. He's good in the red zone. He's good in first down situations. They love him, and he's become a much better blocker. And Payne Durham, by the way, I thought really took a huge step last year, and they got Devin Culp as well.
I like all those guys.
Really, really good pass catching tight end. So I think they've got some depth there, and I think so I'm going to have to disagree with you. I don't think tight end is a weakness. I think some people see that, but I don't think this team has an on-field weakness. To be honest,
I meant Cade Otton was a weakness, not the tight end position at all. I meant him specifically.
And I get it. The drops stand out. There's no question about it. He needs to be better there. So, but I think in general, I think he's a pretty damn good tight end, and I think he works really well within this offensive system. And I think Baker has a great feel for him, and they have great chemistry. So I'm not really concerned about tight end position. And to your point, if they were to lose him, they've got options.
Yeah.
Like they can go 4 wide. When Godwin comes back, they could go 4 wide with Bucky or Rashad in the backfield, or you could take Bucky or Rashad out and split them out. You could go, 3 wide with 2 guys in the backfield, then split one of them out, and you're going to have Rashad on a linebacker or a safety. And that's a win every freaking time. So Grizzard's got lots and lots of options with lots of different weapons. So if they do lose a tight end here, not to say that, Payne Durham and Culp can't step up, because I think they can. So I think they're good. I don't see a glaring weakness on the field, and this will come as no surprise to you who watch the show. To me, the biggest weakness on this team is game management and the head coach. Because we can go back and talk about all the stories from last year, the playoff game before the half, end of game, the Chiefs game, so many times when this team has lost the Falcons game, where they have poorly managed the end of games and the end of halves, not gotten extra possessions while other teams are taking advantage of this. And when you're 2-6 in 7-point games, that is not elite in any way. And you have to be, if you're going to win a Super Bowl, you got to be 6-2. And you got to be able to make those adjustments in the playoffs. That's why they lost the playoff game. They made some mistakes down the stretch. There's no question about it. You can put that on coaching too as well, and not just the head coach, because I didn't have a huge problem with the jet sweep call. I really didn't. It's not. People act like it's some super risky play. It's not. It's something that they executed. Dozens of times in practice, probably hundreds of times in practice, and a few times in the games during the season. And I don't think you can shy away from those calls if you feel like that's the best call to take advantage of the situation at the time. You just got to execute it. You got to execute it. The things come on players as well. And you can't just say, can't just say bad call, bad execute. It's both. It's both in that situation. You got to be better. So is that part coaching, I don't know. It's both to me, but you can't have those bad situations and then in the end of the game, you kick a field goal to tie things up, and then you're not aggressive defensively for the past 4.5 minutes, allowing them to eat the whole clock. You got to do something. You got to either let, casino blitz them, go all out, either have them score or get a turnover or get them off the field on third down. Doing what they did, managing the game the way they did, dropping Yaya in coverage at those key times just doesn't work for me. And I think those were poorly managed games, and it ended the Bucs season way too soon, in my opinion. They had a great chance to go deep into the postseason last year, and they blew it. This roster was good enough to win the game, and they didn't. So they blew it. Yep. And that to me was coaching. So
and I mean, again, it was against a team that ended up going to the NFC Championship, and it was against a young team that a lot of people really didn't know about with a rookie quarterback.
I'm not saying they were a bad team. They're in the playoffs.
Right.
They won 12 games, for God's sake.
But the Bucs were better.
The Bucs were better.
Yeah.
The Bucs were better. And they should have won the game. They only had 7 possessions. Your defense couldn't get off the damn field. And you were out-coached. They knew what they had to do. They knew they had to keep the offense on the field because their defense was awful and the Bucs offense was explosive. So they went for it on 4th down, and they made it 3 out of 5 times, including a touchdown, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
They knew they had to play aggressively, and they did, and they won. You didn't play aggressively enough. That's coaching. That's game management. And as much as I love Todd Bowles, and it's not just on him, the Bucs have to be better in those situations. That's all coaching and the players. So to me, game management, making those key plays in the clutch are the difference between a team that's going to make the playoffs and a team that's going to go deep in the playoffs.
Yep.
You got to make plays at crucial times, and that's part of that is coaching, and part of that is execution. But I think a lot of it is coaching. And Todd Bowles historically has not been good in one-score games. That's the history, and defensive coaches in general are not very good in one-score games. So they got to be better there. That to me is their biggest weakness. And, of course, Bucs Basement's not going to ever miss an opportunity to dump on Todd Bowles. So I've got 6 or 7 comments from him.
And I was going to talk a little Todd Bowles. You want me to shout out?
Yeah,
Todd
go right
Bowles
in. Yeah, go right in.
While we're here. So look, we know Todd Bowles is sort of has been last year, rightfully so, for reasons that you've already outlined, on the very warm seat. I won't call it a hot seat. He's on a warm seat. We talked about if he missed the playoffs 2 years ago, he was probably going to be fired, right? Same could be said for last season, right? But he made the playoffs. He's a one and done with a very impressive offense. The problem is you're the defensive coordinator and your defense sucks. So should the defensive coordinator have been fired? Probably. But now you roll into 2025. You have improved that defense dramatically through the draft. Well, at least we think through the draft and through free agency, getting some guys coming back, being healthy. All the pressure is on Todd Bowles this season and his defense to at least equal what the offense is putting on the field, right? With now your 4th different offensive coordinator in as many years. When you're looking at the schedule, JP, of course, they start the first 3 games. We've talked about the schedule. I'm not going to go through the whole schedule. First 3 games are Falcons, Texans, Jets. I fully expect the team to be at least 2-1 at the very worst after those 3 games, right? Here's the issue. The next 4 games.
That's key spot.
Eagles, Seahawks, 49ers, Lions. If you're not at least 2-2 there, or you go 0-4 there, there's going to be some murmurs, and there's going to be some calling for the head of Todd Bowles. If you start this season, definitely, 2-6, well, 2-7, there's going to be some, I don't care how the defense is looking and you're just losing to better teams, because I think the Eagles, Lions, and 49ers, maybe not the 49ers, might be better. Eagles and Lions definitely are better teams. But Seahawks are a new team.
You don't know 5-1 against the Eagles in the past 5 years.
Yeah, and you're playing them at home too, by the way.
Yeah.
So, again, I'm not saying they should lose 2 out of 2 to those. That could very well be a 4-0 stretch for them. I don't know what to expect out of the Seahawks.
They could with this roster. I don't think they're going to be more than a 3-point underdog the entire season.
Yeah, especially at home, even against like the Lions. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but again, injuries, what happens? Could they lose to these teams? Absolutely. But with the roster that they have, And we went over roster strength yesterday, and most people have them in the 9 to 13 range. I have them in the top 6. I think this is a top 6 roster in the league. But and that being said, you start the season 2-6, it's going to be because of coaching. It's going to be because of coaching. And you're right.
Or your defense just hasn't caught on like you think it should.
Exactly.
Which is coaching, which goes back to coaching.
If this defense is in the high if this defense is 23 or above in pass defense 6-7 games into the season, then it's all on Todd Bowles. It's 1,000% on Todd Bowles. The draft picks that you've made, adding Hassan Reddick, the defensive line that you've put together, if this team is 23rd in pass defense, then it's coaching. It's 1,000% coaching.
It's the scheme, yeah.
It's the scheme is too complicated. The guys aren't learning it. They're not executing it. That's coaching. There's way too much talent to be that bad. And 29th last year with the talent they had, it's unacceptable. That is unacceptable. That team, I'm not saying we had the best coverage linebackers in the league.
They weren't the worst either.
29th? 29th, third worst in the league in pass rush and pass defense? That's just not, and you're not going to do anything with that. And we saw it in the playoff game. Jaden Daniels kind of had his way from a passing standpoint.
Do you think there's anything that Todd Bowles, any amount of failure for him, including something as drastic as a 2-6 start, that would cause him to lose his job midseason?
They don't do that.
I know that's what I'm saying. Like
they don't do
an
that.
0-10 start. They're going to roll with Bowles,
especially with them having great comebacks at the end of both the last 2 seasons, and have sought another soft schedule at the end of the season. I mean, this schedule looks a hell of a lot like last year's in terms of a little heavy in the middle, and then you can make a run at the end. Absolutely. But what they should be doing is playing, at 5-3 at the turn, and then put the pedal down.
Yeah.
5-3 at the turn
would be great at the turn.
Going into the off week is week 9, right? Mm-hmm. 5-3 at the turn, and you should win 6 or 7.
I think you had them going. You had them going.
Yeah.
12-5, I think, is what your final was.
You should have, 11 less than 11 wins this year to me is I'm going to say failure, because it's still going to win you the division.
It's underachieving though.
Yeah, for sure. But if you lose in the first round again, if this team loses in the first round, loses a home playoff game again in the first round, changes have to be made. This roster is way too good for that.
You would think 12 wins would not only get you the division win, but it should get you a home playoff game to start, right? I mean, you're going to be playing against a wild card with a lesser record anyway, so you're going to have home field advantage again in the postseason, and you could be playing somebody like Washington again. We're not real sure what Washington's going to do next year, but
yeah,
I expect good things from them again, just like I did last year.
No, they're going to be good. Sergio Biltres says if Bowles does not make the playoffs or is one and done in the playoffs, then yes, his job is in jeopardy, especially with this roster. No excuses. Totally agree. Yep. Sergio, me and me on the same page. Let's see. Young Swag 69. Haven't seen you in here. Nope. Thank you very much for joining us. JP, do you think Steinbrenners would be cool with the Rays taking over the Bucs parking lot and building a stadium right next door to GMS? Yeah. Let's keep in mind, folks, the Yankees are here for 1 month. They play 1 month of spring training games. There'll still be plenty of parking for the Yankees. So it's not, you guys sometimes act like the Yankees are here for 6 months. They're not. And that they draw, 30,000 in that stadium. They don't. It's 500 a game. So it's not that big a deal. Now, spring training's a big deal. Absolutely. But yeah, they can still have parking, even with under construction. All that stuff is fine. They'll still figure it out. It's not a big deal. Bucs Basement says, all I know is Ray J needs renovation. He'll take the same damn stadium, just build some kind of roof. It's ungodly hot in September in that stadium. It's why I sell my tickets in September games. Absolutely. There's no way there's a renovation of this stadium that doesn't include some type of roof.
It'll be kind of like the Hard Rock Stadium roof, right? Where it covers.
It could be, or it could be a sliding roof to include a baseball stadium. Who knows? We have the technology. We can do it.
Drone tarp.
Yeah, drone tarp. See if we have any other Bucs takes here. I want to get all you guys in. A lot of Panthers takes here, so maybe we should throw these in as well.
Sure.
Lee Antonosa, I think this is correct. He says if Chuck doesn't get hurt during the Four Nations, the Panthers can't use LTIR to pick up Marchand and Jones. Without those two, they don't win the Cup. I think that's right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any question to that. And look, the Bucs, Lightning did it with Kucherov.
Mm-hmm.
So let's not be the hypocrites that the Maple Leaf fans are all the time. Steinbrenner was full last night, 2 straight sellouts. Again, nobody talking about that. Nobody talking about that. Only when it's 8,000, 8,700, they come out of the woodwork. Young Swag also says Lightning need to toughen up and bring in some defensemen. I think you're right, number one. And I think the scuttlebutt is, the chatter is that the Lightning are going to be very active in the next week. They got one big chip, the Hobie Baker Award winner, who is going to be traded, I would think. So they've got that chip and maybe a couple more in terms of players that they could move. And I think they've got some cap room. Yeah, I think Julian Breezeball is going to make some moves. And if he doesn't do anything to make this team bigger and tougher, I'll be shocked. Because clearly that was an issue against the Panthers.
And I didn't watch enough of the regular season, JP, to see, was that an issue with any other teams? It couldn't have just been the Panthers.
It's regular season. No, it's the regular season, and it's not going to make a difference in the regular season. It doesn't get that physical.
Okay.
That's why it's hard. You got to build a team for the playoffs and the regular season. It's very difficult. The rate. God, I keep doing this, my brain. The Lightning were top 5 in almost every major category. In the regular season. They lost to the eventual champs 2 years in a row. And I would argue they're a top 4 team in this league. With that regular season, they're a top 4 team in the league. But yet some people want to trade Kucherov and sign Marchand. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Can Kucherov be moody at times? Does he, yeah, of course. He's also the MVP. You take a little bit of the bad with the good. And his teammates love him. If you're a media member and you don't like the fact that he doesn't like you.
He's a good locker room guy, though. And that's what you need. Screw the media.
Him.
Yeah.
They love him. If you're a media person and you don't like it, the fact that he doesn't answer your questions or gets moody and mad at you, that's on you. His teammates love him. Yeah. He's the MVP.
Voted on by the players.
I don't give a shit what the agenda-driven writers say. The players say he's the MVP. The players, by a large margin, say he's the best playmaker in the game. And Vassie's the best goalie. If you want to blow that up, you have no idea what you're talking about. No idea. You don't blow up one of the best cores in hockey that's still in a Stanley Cup champion window. You lost to a dominant team the last 2 years in the first round. And as Matthew Tkachuk said last night, they were the toughest out. Other than Edmonton, the Lightning were the toughest out. And the Lightning play every game. They went into the third period either ahead or down a goal or tied. They played them tough. But the Panthers were just a smidge better. And a lot of it had to do with Marchand and Seth Jones. And we didn't have Oliver Boyd. We got nothing out of our deadline guys. With all due respect to Yanni Gourde, who was hurt. We got nothing. And they got a lot out of their guys. So deadline made a big, big difference this year. Huge difference. Nathan Elliott, who we'll talk to in a minute, says, yeah, I still dislike those dirty Panthers. I agree.
Yep.
John Hill says, concur with Nathan, happy that the cup remains in the state of Florida, but dislike the Panthers, the Rat, and the rest of the cheating team and the head coach at ball. Amen to all that.
Deal is like actually that the cup stays in your state. Like I never understood that here in Texas. Like I don't cheer for college. I don't cheer for any Texas team in college. I don't cheer for the freaking Texans, the Spurs. I don't cheer for any. I don't care. I hate those teams. They're rivals.
This is upsetting to me. John Hill said this. He thinks the weak link is the cheerleaders.
For who? For the Bucs?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about, John Hill.
Uh-oh.
I know what you're talking about.
Uh-oh. What's the story?
I know what he's talking about.
Oh, no.
Don't be that guy.
John, text me and tell me what you're.
Just
Give me
laugh
the
at it.
background.
Just laugh.
Give me the background, John. I need to know now.
Josh Gazard won't be as good as Liam Cohen, says Michael LaRue, but I think he'll be better than Dave Canales. You got to remember, guys, Baker Mayfield's running this show. It's the same offense. Gazard's going to have a lot of, check at the line with me, and he's going to change a lot of the plays. So let's just keep that in mind.
Liam Cohen didn't have Emeka Ibuka. Josh Gazard does.
And he's got a better, more experienced offensive line. He's got, a full season of Bucky Irving starting. He's got, what else does he add? What did we add?
Slim down Rachaad White.
And he's got a better defense. They'll get the ball more.
We hope.
That's kind of important, don't you think?
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, Nathan Elliott's going to join us. Big Bucs fan. He was at the Bucs rookie deal yesterday at McDill. So we want to give a little shout out to the folks at McDill and the Bucs rookies. So we'll do that. We are brought to you by the great folks at don'tgouncovered.com. Don'tgouncovered.com. Listen, health insurance is important, guys. And a lot of you folks are just like, because it's so expensive, you're just rolling the dice. You will literally destroy your entire financial future. So call the folks at don'tgouncovered.com. They can get you insurance for less than you probably are looking at. Let the pros go through the process with you. They'll ask you a few questions about your income, and they might be able to get you some really, really good insurance at a very low cost. There's a lot of different hoops to jump through. You can go on the website and kind of try to figure it out yourself. I'd say don't do that. Don'tgouncovered.com. Go to that website, call them, and let the experts get you health insurance. It's a really easy thing to do. I did it and literally saved thousands of dollars on health insurance, folks. And I have Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance. Don'tgouncovered.com. Go to the website, and when you talk to them, tell them JP sent you. Back in 3.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Going through a medical emergency without health care insurance can cause you to go into crippling debt. In most scenarios, people are forced to either break into their retirement funds or worse, they're forced to file for bankruptcy. The sad truth is that health care insurance is crucial in today's day and age. Look, I get it. Many of you think you're never going to get sick and health insurance is really expensive. Well, we can help you out with that. Depending on your income, we can find great plans at huge discounts. God forbid you get cancer, a car accident. It could literally ruin you financially for life. So make the call and find out. Even though the open enrollment period is over, you may have some qualifying life events that can help you get covered right away. It can be very complicated, a very intimidating process, but we can help. Go to our website and check out all the 5-star reviews about our helpful agents. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. JP here for Riveters, the official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. We're located just south of Ray J and Steinbrenner Field, so it's a great pre- and post-game spot, and the happy hour is amazing. Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Check out these specials. $3 Bud Light drafts, $4 domestic bottles, $5 wells, $6 premium wells, $6 cocktails like margaritas. That's unheard of. And the Riveters food is freshly made daily. No freezers. Happy hour food specials include $3.50 tacos and barbecue sliders. $6 you get edamame or chips with the beer cheese, which is amazing. $8 buffalo chicken dip, my favorite. The truffle fries, chili cheese fries, also $8 at happy hour, as well as other specials throughout the week, including Taco Tuesdays, you get $3 tacos, and Wing Wednesdays, 7 o'clock to 1 a.m. in the morning, you get our amazing wings, 5 for $5 and $5 wells and wines. That's a good Wednesday night. So if you're tired of the preppy, overpriced generic sports bars, come see the amazing, friendly bartenders and staff at Riveters, where customer service really matters. Riveters, just south of where the Rays and Bucs play. We'll see you there. JP here for my friend Jason Fawcett, owner of On-Site Construction. They do residential and commercial renovations and new construction. As a leading home builder and general contractor, On-Site Construction prides itself on transforming homes through superior craftsmanship, dedication to client vision, and an unmatched commitment to quality and service. It's about building relationships. We take the time to understand our clients' needs, preferences, and budgets so that we can deliver a personalized experience tailored to their unique vision. From the initial designs to the final touches, we're there every step of the way, ensuring that the end result mirrors your vision. Here are some testimonials from happy customers. G. Gibson says, no hidden costs, very honest, reliable, creative, and communicates well. Reasonable and fair with their pricing, no hidden costs. C. Smith said, did not disappoint. I'm very happy with the work. This company really cares and will take care of it. So if you're just thinking about building or renovating, give us a call and let's see what's possible. 813-579-5789 or check out our website at onsiteconstructionfl.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show right here on FanStream Sports. I'm IndyCar Tim. That guy that's not over there is JP Peterson, coming at you live on a Wednesday. Hump Day! Ooh, ooh. Welcome into Hump Day. Welcome into Bucs Talk. JP, did everything come out okay?
Everything came out fabulous.
Just
I was
curious.
actually doing some yeah, my God. I was doing a little adjustment in studio adjustments here. So
Producing on the air.
absolutely. And big thanks to the folks at thirdgenerationplumbing.com. If you have any problems with your AC or plumbing or anything mechanical in your house, give them a call, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. People say, boy, do you have an AC guy, right? People are always like, because you don't want to just go call somebody because you have no idea if they're honest or what. These folks have been in business since 1995. Third generation and actually goes way back to the turn of the century. They've been a family here. John Rodriguez is the owner. So yeah, word of mouth, all those 5-star reviews, they're great. So you're going to have an honest group of technicians coming over to take care of your AC when something goes wrong, and they'll be there fast and they'll do it on time and they'll give you a fair price. They have 0% financing. So all those good things. AC units ain't cheap anymore, folks. It's a lot of money, but you want to make sure that you need one, number one, and they'll do a tune-up on it too. thirdgenerationplumbing.com. Go call them and tell them JP sent you. Great folks over there. All right, we got Nathan on the line.
We do.
Nathan Elliott, the big Bucs fan. How are you, my friend?
Very good, JP. Hello again, Tim, the man with the ham. Hello, JP.
I don't know if I like that or not. Nah, I guess it's
Tim,
fine.
the man with the ham.
I've been called worse.
Yeah. Are you maple glazed? Most
I
of the
hope
time,
so,
he is.
man. That
glazed.
is the best. I love me some maple glazed.
So I want to get you on, Nathan, just to chat a little bit about your experience yesterday. You got to go over and meet some of the Bucs rookies. They do this every year at MacDill, which is awesome because it's great for our fighting men and women who right now are very, very much in danger. So tell me a little bit about your experience yesterday at MacDill.
Well, it is a very well-organized event. It is held at the commissary located on MacDill. I was able to attend with some of my Lot 12 tailgating friends, Fernando and Michelle. Met new people like Bradley and Jan for the first time. And Fernando also brought his friend Andy, who is his next-door neighbor. She's a big-time Buccaneer fan. And it was a great event. It was very well organized. Everybody was waiting outside the commissary, and then a big charter bus pulls up. 2 Buccaneer chaperones get off the bus. The players start exiting the bus and walking in, and fans are cheering.
Cool.
And he got so excited, and she got so crazy, she went running over to Desmond Watson, tried to jump into his arms.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
What did Big Des do?
He smiled. He gave her a great big hug.
He catch her?
Took a picture with her.
He didn't catch her, right?
Kind of, sort of.
Okay.
Kind of, sort of. She went up in the air. He kind of caught her, and then her legs went immediately down.
I'd love to see video of that.
Was security okay with this? Was that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, everybody was fine with it. People were going nuts when the players started arriving, and we were all laughing at her when that took place.
So you get a chance to meet these guys up close and personal. We did over the last few OTAs and rookie minicamp, and you've heard me on this show. I couldn't have come away more impressed with all of these young men. Just meeting them through interviews and chatting with them. You really get to feel for kind of who they are, and obviously you guys got it in a much more comfortable setting. So, what were your thoughts of Abuka and some of the other guys that you met?
Abuka he was very nice. Really nice guy. He signed 3 items for me, and even put up with me giving him some banter about Oh Hell No State. I gave him a little bit of trash talking, but I told him I had to root for him because he was just that good. And guys around him gave a good chuckle. Elijah Roberts, he was funny. He was shocked that I actually brought his SMU trading card, and he was like, "Wow, where did you find this?" I told him it was the internet, and you can find anything there.
Yes.
Shiloh, you can tell he earned his degree. Really nice guy. Took lots of photos with Bradley. He went ahead and just really, really, he really engaged you. He really talked a lot.
Interesting. Yeah.
Sounds like an intelligent guy. I've heard that about him.
Wasn't an arrogant a jerk like many thought he is, or his brother more.
Like his brother is, yeah.
Accurately. But wasn't that guy. I've heard all the great stuff about him heard some great stories from Brian Ford, that, kind of behind the scenes stuff with the staff, that he's been awesome and super respectful and all that stuff, unlike his brother. So, all right, go ahead. Who else?
Oh, Tez Johnson. Tez Johnson was also very funny. He's excited to be in Tampa.
Are you taller than Tez Johnson?
What's that?
Are you taller than Tez Johnson?
Yeah, I think so.
You have to look down to him?
No, not exactly. I think we're about the same height.
Okay,
so I think he's pushing around 5'10", 5'11".
Okay.
I don't know about that, but okay.
Yeah, that seems like a stretch.
Yeah, he went ahead and he told me, he says, if you like Bucky, you're going to love me.
He loves him some Bucky,
he's
man.
He's all about Bucky, man.
Yeah.
He never stops talking about Bucky. Well, they're brothers. They're literally brothers. Yep. They were Bucky or Tez was adopted by Bucky's family.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it the other way around? Not sure. But either way, they're brothers. Who else?
Oh, just you go ahead and go through the lineup. Jake Majors was good. Elijah Roberts, like I said, he was great. Ben Scott, he was a lot of fun to talk to. And then there's some other players. I met them for the first time. I had no real background information on them. So they were just kind of like new ones. I already saw that like one guy who was originally signed is not there now. So
and most of the guys you got selfies with all of them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I got post. And the way I did it was I went through the line and I got everything autographed. And then I jumped out of line and went back to the end, making sure I was the last person, because I didn't want to take away from the opportunity of everybody getting autographed. So I get back in line and I don't get the opportunity, but I walked outside. And as the guys were walking back to the bus, they were more than happy to do selfies with me as they were walking back to the bus.
So this was a well-staffed event, and people weren't allowed to take advantage of the system, even though you may have tried, so that everybody could get autographs. Much different than the Rays debacle event that they had. So,
well, a lot of people, they did selfies and autographs at the exact same moment.
Right.
But
Cool.
I want to make sure everybody gets their opportunity to get their autographs or their selfies, whichever one they want to do.
Nice. So Bucs fans are a little bit more polite than greedy Rays fans. Is what you're saying. So okay, good stuff. Good. All right, now before you go, you're always full of great opinions in our comment section. So today's topic was Bucs' biggest weakness. What do you think the Bucs' biggest weakness is? And maybe if you want to comment on our thoughts, since Tim trashed Kate Otten unbelievably and Graham Barton.
Trash. They're just
Trashed
trash.
them.
Trade them both or trash.
Get them out. What are your thoughts?
Well, Graham Barton, one, he'll drink tequila out of the bottle. He's a lot of fun like that. Two, he's going to improve. He made rookie mistakes last year, and he's going to get better. Cade, I commented on this. When Cade is expecting the ball, he catches the ball. Last year, prior to Chris Godwin and Mike Evans going down, he was like the fourth or fifth option on pass plays. So when they went down, he stepped up his game, and he was on fire throughout the rest of the season. He's going to be more physical. He has improved his blocking, and his route running is outstanding. Everybody talks about it. It's going to happen. It's going to continue to click. Again, if he's expecting the ball, he catches it.
All right. I agree. 100%.
Out of last question, Nathan, then we'll let you get back to lunch or breakfast or brunch or wherever you're at. Out of all of the players that you saw yesterday, who has the most punchable face?
Most punchable face.
Yeah.
I really didn't want to punch any of them. It was they were just good guys. I mean, there was
It was the Bucs handler who told you couldn't get back in line. I'm gonna go with that guy, whoever that dude was.
Yeah, the chaperone. The chaperone. But like I said, I walked outside and the guys were great. They took photos with me the whole way out.
Nice. All right.
Good stuff. All right, Nathan, thanks for jumping in. I wanted to give the folks the perspective on that behind the scenes event that you got to go to. So thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
You're welcome. We'll talk to you guys later.
All right. You're great, Nathan.
There he goes.
All right. So I want to get to a couple videos here today.
Okay.
This one I just love because it's one of my favorite people on the planet. That's Brad Johnson. So Gruden ran into Brad at some event. I think this might have been the event yesterday. I'm not sure. But Gruden ran into Brad Johnson, and they were reminiscing about the Super Bowl. Everybody remembers the Super Bowl as the 5 picks and we have 4 pick sixes or whatever the hell it was. It was, absolutely the greatest defensive dominant performance in the history of the game, in my opinion. But the offense right before the half came up with a huge touchdown. And it was all Brad to Keenan McCardell, and Coach Gruden taking credit for the call here as well, which he should get, obviously. So, but there's the two of them just yucking it up yesterday, and I thought you guys would enjoy this.
Colt! Super Bowl 37, Brad Johnson. End of the first half, 26 seconds left. I call South right nickel 41, which is a draw play to Michael Pittman.
Nickel 41.
Kill it with 374 Wasp, which is a Max Pro fly stop on the outside. Just take me through that, your recollection and the execution.
South right, nickel 41, killed 374 Wasp. I come up there, they got 7, 8 guys in the box.
Woodson is out, watch for dog.
Oh, I love this.
I see Keenan McCardell over there, one-on-one with Charles Woodson.
Watch this back shoulder.
Yellow 88! Yellow 88! Kill!
24 ticks and 1 timeout left for the Bucs.
Blue 45! Blue 45! Say hut!
And Johnson to the
Oh, look
How
at the
perfect
timing
was
on that. Perfect. Back shoulder.
First fly stop I ever called against Charles Woodson in the Super Bowl, and it was one of the great bullets ever delivered. Like a sniper.
A great call, man.
Dude, that might be one of the greatest videos I have ever seen in my life.
Right?
Him explaining it, and then they throw the game footage in there with it. And how about both of these? Their brain. I know coaches in football. That's football players. That's all they do is have football in their brain, right? But for both of them to recollect to a T that those sequences, like to me, that is one of the most amazing things ever.
When Brad comes on the show all the time, we got to get him back on. He's such a hoot.
Yeah.
And when I always ask him to call plays, and he just rattles them off. It's just crazy.
Yep.
So and his recollection is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But those two guys are so simpatico. They're like their love for the game. And that's why I always thought Brad Johnson was such a great fit with Gruden.
Yeah.
Because Gruden was hard to deal with. As Brad famously said, he was like a rolling blade of knives every day coming at you. But it made him sharper. Like it made him the best player he could possibly be. And, it was tough to deal with, but Brad would give it back to him. Like he wouldn't just take it. He would give it back to him on the field, in practice, not in a disrespectful way, but in a competitive type of way. And and Brad was one of the few players who could absorb all the knowledge that Gruden was throwing at him and be able to deal with it. It was just really, really difficult. And that's why they were so good together. And you could just see them, they have that same, this ridiculous passion for the game and intellect for the game too. Yeah. And Brad could handle it. And I don't think there were many quarterbacks that could handle.
By the way, Brad Johnson's a tremendous follow on X, on social media, with his trick shots all the time. Incredible. And just, and my first favorite of all time, Cowboys backup quarterback.
That's right. He was the Cowboys backup quarterback.
Yep. He barely. And only reason is he's my favorite is because I had him on my fantasy teams when he was in Tampa and in Minnesota and won me about 4 championships on my fantasy leagues. But barely beating out the great Steve Berline is my second favorite Cowboys backup quarterback. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah. All right. This other one is a little MLB Network take on the Rays. Steve Phillips, former GM, love his takes. This was yesterday, so before the Rays lost last night. But I think it's all very pertinent. So his thoughts on the Rays.
Start taking notice. The Rays are for real right now. 8 games over 500, and I don't think they're going to slide back. They are that good of a team. Starting pitching is phenomenal for them. Since the Glasnow trade, Tyler Glasnow has a 3.61 ERA in 152 innings, while Ryan Pepio has a 3.40 ERA in 219 2/3 innings. Pepio has been fantastic for them, very affordable for them as well. The Rays scored in each of the first 5 innings of the game. When you score in 5 consecutive innings, it speaks to the length and depth and balance of your lineup, that everybody is contributing, that it's not just your top 3 hitters, but 4 through 6 and 7 through 9 are also part of that offensive production. And the Flappy Boys have it going on right now down in Tampa Bay. It's now my new thing. I think you guys inform me. I've been educated today about the Flappy Boys. It's now my thing. I'm going to use that now. I think at every turn, I'm going to use it to the point you're going to get sick of hearing it.
Please don't.
I promise you.
Please
I'm going to. Baseball's hottest team. They've scored the most runs in the last 30 days, and all of baseball is tied for the second most home runs in the last 30 days. And so this offense has really come to life. And obviously 19-6 in their past 25. They are on a run right now, and it's not because they're hot. It's because they're good.
There you go.
Yeah. I think Steve Phillips is dead on there. And the Rays they can get better. They can get better down the stretch. McClanahan coming back. I think Chandler Simpson will become a part of the everyday lineup. They'll fit him in there. They've got a lot of, and I think this is a time they could go make a trade at the deadline too, to add a power bat. And you might say, well, where's all they going to play? You figure it out. You DH it. Guys get injured. You give guys days off. Your bench becomes so much bigger and better. Think about that, folks. Down the stretch where give Kevin Cash some bullets in the arsenal, so he doesn't have to go pinch hit Morel, for God's sakes, like he did last night or the night before. It just somebody's coming off the bench that can actually hit and put the ball in play, or pinch run. Chandler Simpson. I mean, so many more weapons that you can have, and a pitching staff. The relievers are the best in baseball. 3.04. Last night, they had a 17 2/3 inning scoreless streak snap. So this Rays team is playing great baseball. They're back at it tonight against the Orioles to see who wins the series. So head on out there, enjoy some great baseball.
I told you guys a few weeks ago when everybody was crying suck and how bad they were, and you were right. They weren't playing well, but I said, look, they are hanging on within 3, 4, 5 games of the Yankees in first place, and that's all they have to do is hang on until they can get hot and get used to playing at Steinbrenner Field and get the pitching in order, and then the bats will wake up, and here we are.
Yep. I wanted to get into the Caitlin Clark thing. We'll do that more tomorrow, show you the video if you haven't seen it. It's just disgusting. the shots that she's taking from these other players who just don't get it and are just so jealous of her being the best player in the league and getting so much attention, but giving them great opportunity and making them more money than they'll ever make. They still can't stand it because they're bigots, quite frankly, in my opinion. And it's disgusting the way
How is
she's
that
being
possible
treated.
in America in 2025?
Oh, I don't know. But it's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. And it's not widespread. These are just, these WNBA girls just don't get it. They don't get it. And
they've grown up in a certain culture and climate, and Caitlin Clark came in and rocked their world, and they don't like it.
Yep, they don't like it. It's supposed to be so tolerant and inclusive, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Shocking development.
Weird.
Yeah. All right. Big thanks to Nathan Elliott, who joined us. Great job, Timmy, and all of you who got up in the chat. We love you guys. Sorry we couldn't get to each and every one of them, but there's literally hundreds of comments each and every day. You can go read them right now, right there on our show page. Appreciate you guys. We will be back tomorrow with more fun and frivolity. Go Rays.
Thank you.